Do you have a commercial lease and aren't sure of your obligations under this COVID-19 situation? If so, keep watching. G'day and welcome to Quick Law. Quick Law is a bit of an online chat where I spend a minute or two giving you some general advice and information about a little bit of the law, maybe a few tips, and hopefully in simple English so that you've got something useful to take away. Currently, due to the pandemic, South Australia, as with most of Australia, has put some new temporary laws in place in relation to commercial leases. If you're a landlord, bad news, at least temporarily. The COVID-19 Emergency Response Act makes it illegal for a commercial landlord to enforce its rights, where the tenant is suffering financial hardship as a result of the pandemic. You can't boot them out. You can't even sue them for debt. How do you know if a tenant is suffering financial hardship due to the pandemic? Well, the one easy test is if they qualify for the JobKeeper. If they qualify for the JobKeeper, then it's a no-brainer. Other than that, it's a bit of a grey area because even if the tenant doesn't qualify for the JobKeeper, they might still be suffering financial hardship due to the pandemic. Unfortunately, there's no easy definition for that, so it might still be illegal for the landlord to exercise its rights under the lease. Either party can apply to the Small Business Commissioner to help answer that question, but that could be a pain in the butt. If the tenant is not suffering financial hardship due to the pandemic, but isn't paying rent, then it's business as usual. The landlord can still enforce its rights under the lease. They can be booted. But before doing so, I think the landlord would probably want to make pretty darn sure that the tenant's failure to pay rent isn't because they're suffering financial hardship due to the pandemic. And what happens in 6 months when this COVID-19 Emergency Response Act comes to an end? Well, that's not clear yet. It's likely there'll be some measures put in place to gloss over the fact that there's a whole bunch of tenants out there who are in rent arrears. So I don't think there'll be heaps of evictions in 6 months' time. But if I was a tenant, I would not want to gamble on that. You're probably going to have to find the rent eventually. What's the take-home message in all of this? If you're a tenant, yeah, you can't be booted out at the moment, but you might have to front the rent at some point. So keep on top of it if you can, or do a deal with a landlord. And landlords, work with your tenants because you'd want to be bloody careful before trying to enforce a lease right now. And if you do manage to negotiate something, get it put in writing, preferably by a lawyer. And look, everything I've said today is general. It's based on the laws here in South Australia right now. They're going to change, they're only temporary. It may not take into account your particular needs or your situation, and it's not specific for you. It's just a bit of information. If you want some guidance on your lease obligations, need a lease prepared, or want us to help negotiate changes to your lease, contact us. See you next time.